Welcome to the range report of my buckshot spread test. I just got back from the indoor range and I shot several loads of fairly common double-aught buck loads. One from Fiocchi, one from Federal, one from Hornady, a load from Winchester, the green mil-spec or military grade double-aught buck, as well as the Remington Express, you know, the standard Remington double-aught buck in the green and yellow box. And I also took a couple of other, not really specialty loads, but non-double-aught buck loads. And I shot those as well, and I'll show you the results. So let's get right to it. All right. Let me just go ahead and start with the Winchester military grade double-aught buck, because I know a lot of people are interested in this round and a lot of people buy it. Here's how it did. At a distance of 10 yards from my Mossberg 500 20-inch barreled shotgun, I'll show it to you in a few minutes. That's your spread. It did okay. I mean, nothing spectacular. I guess if that's what the military requires, that's fine. It's a pretty decent spread. Nothing too bad. And let me get out my ruler here. Forgive me for this crude measuring instrument. I don't have a ruler handy right now, but this will work in a pinch. And let's start with that last round on the upper left and measure to this round here on the bottom right. And we're getting a grouping of 5 inches in that direction. So yeah, about 5.5 inches for the Winchester military grade. All right. Let's go over to the Fiocchi. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it. I don't know if it's Fiocchi or Fiocchi. But yeah, not too great. This is the Extrema, kind of their, I wouldn't say bargain double-aught buck, but I bought this at a sporting goods store on sale. I think it was 10 rounds for about $7, so not too expensive. And let's go ahead and measure this one again. Again, forgive me for the crude ruler here. Alright, let's see what we're getting. That looks to be about 7 inches. Yeah, about 7 inches there. So 5.5 for the Winchester Mill, and about 7 inches or so for the Fiocchi. Now we'll go over to the Federal. This is double-aught buck as well, a 1325. I mentioned all the feet per second and the specs in the previous video, so if you'd like, you can just refer back to that one. This one didn't do too bad. The wad was over here, and these are all the pellets in this fairly small group here. Measure that for you. Approximately 4 inches. So the Federal, not too bad. And let me just show you real quick. I got a really good deal on that Federal double-aught buck. It's part number XM127. There you go. And I got 175 rounds of pretty decent quality Federal double-aught buck. It came with that nice ammo can, and I think it was $90, 90 or 100. And I just couldn't pass it up, so I had to buy. I actually bought a couple canisters of that double-aught buck. But yeah, so that's your Federal right there, XM127, and it didn't do too bad. Now, all of these were, except for the Fiocchi, the Winchester military and the Federal, about the same, but you can see there's quite a difference on the Hornady. This one is the hotter load. It's advertised at 1,600 feet per second, and I measured this before I turned on the camera, and it was a 3-inch group. So if a tight pattern is what you'd like at 10 yards or less, well, yeah, you can't beat that. 3-inch group, Hornady double-aught buck. I believe it's 8 pellets, and it's done that for me consistently. I've shot it before at the range, and it's always had the tightest grouping. So depending on what you want for the groupings, if it's tight, and then go for the Hornady right there. All right, let me take these off, and we'll go to the next page here. Okay, and here's another load that kind of had a wide, large grouping. Let me measure that for you real quick. Quick and dirty here. About 5.5 inches, although it looks to be bigger than that. But 5.5, 6 inch grouping there. But more importantly, it's kind of a wide spread all around the periphery there. Nothing right in the middle. So that's the Remington. It's usually one of the cheapest rounds in double-aught buck that you can find from a decent manufacturer. I've seen them on Cheaper Than Dirt for sale sometimes. They're under $4. I think sometimes they're for $3.89. So yeah, maybe you do get what you pay for. I mean, it'll still work, but you compare that to the Hornady, and you can see there's a difference. And that Hornady is a little bit more expensive. And then let me show you that specialty round that I took. It's the Centurion Buck and Ball. It's a 65 caliber ball and 6 pellets of #1 buckshot. This one did pretty well. You've got 4 pellets, the ball, and the wad all in that small hole, and that's a 1 inch grouping right there. Very devastating. Most of that energy is going straight into that little 1 inch hole, and would not want to be on the receiving end of that. And then these 2 remaining #1 pellets were not too far away. This one looks to be about 1.5 inches away. This one's about 3 inches away. So very devastating, but this is definitely a round that you need to aim precisely with, because it's not going to have that wall of lead. None of these are that Hollywood big wall of lead that just goes everywhere and you don't have to aim. Well, it's not true. You can see that right here. Even with one of the loads that didn't do as well as some of the others, you still have to aim that thing. You can't just spray and pray. I mean, you might get some shots on target, but you're far better off taking your time and trying to get the sights on target. Not that you might have a lot of time to do that. All right, guys. And then if it is the wall of lead that you're interested in, well, this is the load for you. And this is actually what I use for the first 2 rounds of my home defense shotgun. Not necessarily because I want a big wall of lead like that, but it's because of the logistics. I live in an apartment, and so over-penetration is a big concern for me. I don't want one of these heavy double-aught buck pellets to go through the wall and injure my neighbors, so it's something that I have to be really cognizant of. And so for that reason, what I have for the first 2 rounds is this product. It's actually birdshot, but it's #2 birdshot, and it's a Magnum shell. It's 3 inches, and it comes out at 1,550 feet per second. 1550, #2 shot, 1 1/8 ounces of shot, and this thing's got quite a kick. That's the reason that I use that. I feel more comfortable using this than game loads or target loads because those are low brass. This is a high brass shell, and although I am worried about my neighbors, if someone breaks into my house or my apartment, I've got to be able to stop them, so I do need a little bit of power. But that's what I use for the first 2 rounds. All right. So there you go. A simple buckshot, double-aught buckshot spread test for you. Of course, don't take these results as written in stone. You should just use them as kind of a springboard, and you can definitely test them on your own shotgun. In fact, I would highly recommend that, because even if I was to take another shotgun that's the exact same model as this is the Mossberg 500 Special Purpose Persuader. Fancy name, but it's pretty much Mossberg's entry-level security shotgun. Well, it's one step above their Maverick line, but yeah, I've had no problems with it. It's not the fanciest thing in the world, but it goes bang every time. Very, very reliable, and it holds 8 shells of 2 3/4 inch shotgun ammo in the magazine there, and 1 in the chamber. Now, I do load the first 2 rounds with the 3-inch Magnum duck hunting ammo, so my capacity goes down to 7, but that's still plenty for me. I don't need, 8 or 9 in there. 7's enough. So there you go, guys. Those are the results. Hornady had the tightest groupings. The other ones were probably not statistically significantly different from each other, but just a little simple test for you. You guys can test them out for yourself, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment and please subscribe. Hopefully this will be one of the last videos that I shoot on this simple iPhone camera. I did send away, I've ordered a nice Canon camcorder, a proper camcorder, because I want to take the quality of my videos up a notch, and should be coming in the next few days. So hopefully the next video you see will be shot on a real camera. And I do appreciate you guys watching. Thank you.